Big news out of Washington today as President Donald Trump slams the brakes on trade talks between Canada, citing the new digital taxes that he claims to have just found out about. He took to his Truth social media to post, and I quote, "We have just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, including the fact that they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy products, has just announced that they are putting a digital services tax on our American technology companies, which is a direct and blatant attack on our country. They are obviously copying the EU, which has done the same thing and is currently under discussion with us. Also, based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada, effective immediately. We will let Canada know the tariff that they will be paying to do business with the USA within the next 7-day period. Thank you for your attention to this matter."
Canada has been a very difficult country to deal with over the years. We hear Canada, we have a great relationship with the people of Canada, but it's been very difficult. And they put a charge, and they were a little bit early, we found out about it. And we have all the cards. We have every single one. We don't want to do anything bad, but they have... Economically, we have such power over Canada. I'd rather not use it, but they did something with our tech companies today trying to copy Europe. They copied Europe. It's not going to work out well for Europe either, and it's not going to work out well for Canada. They were foolish to do it. And so I said we're going to stop all negotiations with Canada right now until they straighten out their act.
So it looks like at least there's still some olive branch, he said, until they straighten out their act. But let's take a look at the comments to see how social media is reacting to this news. So one commenter says, "Carney is 10 steps ahead of this fool." Someone else says, "Thank God Carney is in charge. PP would have licked his boots and sold us down the river." Another one says, "He's trying to distract from the fact a Canadian was killed in ICE custody. Time teach him about 1812. Someone else says, "Carney is a fool." Another person is, "Crooked Carney has messed us up." Someone else says, "Carney is a weasel." Another person says, "Please save us, President Trump. I want my kids to have a future. Destroy this socialist dump." Someone else says, "This is strangely refreshing to hear as a Canadian. Anyone else get the feeling the US doesn't actually have all the cards? Carney is holding down the fort." Someone else says, "What do you mean difficult? Lol, like he's talking about Russia or Iran. Lol, what a character." So it looks like the opinions down in the comments here, they are kind of divided, I would say. But yeah, meanwhile, here's what Carney had to say when he was asked about the news.
Have you spoken to the president today yet, sir?
No, I didn't speak to the president today.
Any reaction to the news you put on?
No, look, we'll continue to conduct these complex negotiations in the best interest of Canadians. It's a negotiation. Ça va continuer.
So he appears to be completely unfazed by the whole thing. It seems like our leaders are playing cards, right? While we are like bleeding dry at the grocery stores and at the gas pumps, they're playing cards. I don't know if this is a poker face, but how are Canadians really feeling about this? Opinions are divided in the chats. As you can see here, one commenter says, "Many thanks to Prime Minister Carney for tirelessly building international relations for Canada, turning crisis into opportunity during this pivotal period in history, and helping us steadily build a strong and globally respected nation." Someone else says, "PP would have given in by now. Thank you, Mr. Carney." So it looks like the opinion so far seems like people don't really like PP. They think that like he would have not stood up against Trump. That seems to be like the consensus so far. Someone else says, "Perfectly said. Thank you." Somebody else is saying, "Love Carney." And one says, "He's unbothered. I love this for Canadians." Someone says, he chuckles at the question, "I'm disgusted in this PM." So that's someone that is not for him. Someone else says, "McCartney, we're in good hands, Canada." Someone says, "This is how an adult responds when a toddler throws a tantrum." So here again, it looks to be that, actually this one looks like you have a lot of people that are actually for Carney, to be honest. I would say for sure that the chat seems to be on board with the Prime Minister of Canada. While I do commend his confidence, Do y'all really think Canada can stand up against the mighty force that is the USA? Let's find out. Who would you say needs who more? Here's a clip of an American who was against Trump on this news.
We have some major news. Donald Trump just declared war on Canada again. Trump just announced that he's ending all trade talks with Canada and he's going to be putting tariffs on them in the next week. He just said on social media, quote, "We've just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, including the fact they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy products. This is not true, yada, yada. They are obviously copying the European Union, which has done the same thing and is currently under discussion with us. Based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada effective immediately. We will let Canada know the tariff that they will be paying to do business with the United States of America within the next 7-day period. Thanks for your attention to this matter." This 400% business he's talking about here is a tariff rate quota. That means that after Canada imports a certain amount of U.S. dairy product, then this tariff goes into effect. But that tariff has never gone into effect because the quota has never been reached. So he's using this mystical fake tax to end trade discussions with Canada and announce tariffs on them in the next week. It will never make sense how Donald Trump continues to declare war on one of America's closest allies, but nothing ever makes sense with Donald Trump. I'm going to go break this down on my YouTube, my Substack, and my Spotify show, link in bio, but insanity.
Yeah, so I noticed that the brother only spoke about the 400% tariffs on the dairy products, which is a good point. It's definitely a good catch, but he didn't mention anything about the digital sales taxes. So that is is that something that you do in the middle of a negotiation, is to slap on a tax? Could you argue that you're acting in good faith at that point? I definitely don't think so. I think that if you're negotiating with someone in good faith, then you don't go and then put on a tariff on them while negotiating tariffs. Here's a clip of a Canadian who's actually in support of Trump. Surprising as it may be. Is he a traitor or is he just being realistic?
Oh, Canada is a country that absolutely loves shooting itself in the foot, and right now it's shooting itself in the foot over a digital services tax. The President of the United States no longer wants to negotiate with Canada because for some reason we are refusing to drop a tax that is levied against American companies. This is a tax that the United States of America has called needlessly inflammatory. It would cost digital service providers in the United States billions of dollars every single year. The problem is, this is not how you do good faith negotiations with the largest economy on the planet. You're thinking to yourself, who cares? There are U.S. companies. We want their money. Well, you should care because it means that if our government can't get a good deal with the United States, that's billions of dollars worth of trade that are no longer on the table, meaning things become more expensive for you. This, by the way, is on top of a 400% tariff that's imposed on the United States through our supply management program, which, fun fact, is the reason why the PPC exists. No matter which way you cut it, Canada is shooting itself in the foot right now. I, for one, don't understand why we keep doing this.
So I noticed that this one that is for Trump, he seems to be leaving out the facts behind 400% tariffs, right? And that it's actually based on a quota that once they pass that quota, then it kicks in, but they've never met that quota. I don't know if he purposely doesn't mention that or if he's just being biased. Meanwhile, the other one that was against Trump only talks about the 400%, clarifies it, but then doesn't mention the digital sales tax. So it seems like both people, they're kind of being compromised in their stance. But what do you guys think? Do you think Canada shot themselves in the foot with this digital tax? What was even the point of it? Why did Trump just find out about this today? Is this just a new announcement from Canada? Comment down below with your thoughts and be sure to give this video a like and to subscribe to the channel if you're vibing with me. And until next time, peace.